Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thank you guys once again for joining the 9 Innings podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 9 Innings Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple Books. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at 9innings@99capgroup.com. Send us your questions or comments, or you can go to the website at www.9inningscapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. If you want to listen to our YouTube or podcast, go to our YouTube station and type in 9 Innings Capital Group there. Or go to the iTunes station and type in 9 Innings Capital Group there to listen to our audio versions of our podcast. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And today, that's what we're here to do. We had a conversation a few weeks back about credit card fraud. And today we're talking about the good old-fashioned telephone scam, the good old-fashioned student loan scam. Let's get it. Guys, I know every day you get these phone calls, whether it be, hey, you need some more your auto warranty? Do you need to renew your auto warranty or get some kind of new auto policy or stuff like that? All these different scams coming to you from left, right, and center. They're calling you, and they have information on you. They'll call you and say, hey, you have this credit card X and we can help you pay this off at Y and then get you this, that, and the other. You give them information, and next thing you know, your information is compromised, your card accounts are compromised, and it's a whole big issue. Now, we have student loan scams, right? We understand these scams are out there. We understand that these things are evident because, well, I get a lot of these phone calls. And guess what? I've never had a student loan. It's the funniest thing in the world because I've never had a student loan. I had a scholarship. And by the way, why are you calling me about my student loan debt when I don't understand what you're even talking about? Which is funny. So I get calls on a weekly basis talking about, hey, Kevin, you are on our list. You have a student loan debt of X, Y, and Z. And if you give us a call back, we'll help you bring that student loan debt down. I literally want to just call these guys and just play with them, but I don't have the time, right? So these people are out there preying on you. Preying on those people that do have student loans, and preying on the people that when they have student loans that they can get to these people and get them to listen to them. So what's going to happen is they're going to give you a call and talk to you about your student loans and how you can reduce the debt. So part one, the call comes in. They tell you about your student loan. They tell you about the current Biden administration, what they're going to be possibly doing. But ultimately, they're saying you can reduce your student loan from, say, $10,000. We'll get you to pay it off for $500. Something silly like that. And you're like, wow, this is interesting. I can pay my loan down by $500 right now. If I just give you $500, my loan be wiped away. Absolutely, we can definitely do that. Here's because we know you have $10,000 at this university, and now it's been given over to us in collections, and now we have all this, so we can go ahead and get this down, taken care of, or whatever the case may be. I am not the most I'm not the best person to talk about this stuff because I really don't know much about it. I just know how the game works. I know how the game is. They're going to call you and they're going to say, hey, either this has gone to this, or we're now we now have your loan. I will tell you this. Never talk to anyone, especially with your student loans. Never talk to anyone about your student loan if there's not a government agency. If it's not a government agency, because a lot of your loans were government loans, never talk to anybody about that unless it's a private loan. If it's a private loan, then maybe they can do something else or whatever. But if it's a government loan, make sure it's a government institution. And let me tell you this: no one ever calls you from the government. I'm sorry. The IRS is not going to sit here and say, hey, you have an IRS tax lien. We're going to give you a call on this date to talk about it. No. Not going to happen. They're going to mail you something and have you mail it back, or have you give them a call about this said debt. So step one, when you have a government-backed loan, never answer a phone call from a person claiming that they can get your student loan reduced. Never, because they can't. They won't. They're not from a government institution. You should always contact your lender to talk to them about these types of things. Because what's going to happen? Here's how it works. Hey, Mr. Thompson, I know you have a $10,000 student loan debt. I'm going to come by and say, well, I didn't have a student loan. I had a baseball scholarship, but keep talking. I want to hear this funny conversation. So boom, they're going to come back and say, okay, you had a student loan for $10,000. We can go back and we can correct it. We can get it reduced. We can get it eliminated right now if you just give us $500. Oh, perfect. Well, how's that work? Well, what we did is we worked out a deal with the federal government or whomever else entity they're going to talk to say they did. And we're going to basically get this reduced. We have the ability to pay your loan down and get it wiped away for this amount because we have special lending standards through our company. Okay, perfect. Well, okay, let me give you my information. Hi, it's Kevin Thompson. I work at blah, 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 Z. My social security number is XYZ, capital letters, and this, and this. Perfect. Do you have your debit? You have your information so we can go ahead and get this paid off? Yes. Okay, here's my credit card, debit card information. Boom. So now you have basically authorized these individuals to go into your account and debit your account. But guess what happens when you authorize someone to go in and debit your account? You most likely won't get that money back. So never authorize someone to go into your account and take money out, because that money, regardless if it was done fraudulently or not, was authorized by you. Therefore, the bank uses that authorization and says, well, you know what, Kevin, you paid them $500, but you authorized this $500 to come out of your account. Therefore, it wasn't a fraudulent activity. Yes, we know that these people were fraudulent people. However, you're not going to get this money back because you authorized this money to come out. Why do banks do that? Well, they have to protect themselves as well. A lot of times, not saying most people do this, but sometimes people can go in there and authorize activities like that and then go back to the bank and say, hey, I didn't have this come out. And then the bank gives them money back. And now they get the money back from the other individual. And boom, they're just doubling up consistently. That's what they're trying to protect themselves against. So the idea here is that the bank's going to protect themselves, and they will not, if it's an authorized activity, authorized debit, they're not going to give you that money back. 99.9% of the time, they will not give you that money back. So don't authorize anything coming out of your account. But they're going to say, hey, well, you debited this money out of your account. Here you go. And then next thing you know, guess what? When all that stuff's said and done, you paid the $500, the $1,000, whatever that looks like, that debt's still there. These companies are out there preying upon you. You are a victim. Absolutely. Whether it be auto warranty companies saying your auto warranty's out of your car's out of warranty, we can give you this, and this. Whether it's these student loan debt companies, whether are these credit card companies that are coming out saying your car's in collection, whether it's these medical debt companies coming out saying that they can do these things. These companies are actually preying upon you, and it's sinister and it's wrong. And by the way, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, needs to come out and make sure that they get in front of all of this, because they're contacting us, the consumer, our phones. They're contacting us via email. They're contacting us on the radio waves. They're doing everything in their power to get in front of us, to use us as victims, as pawns in their system, right in front of the Federal Communications Commission. So if this is something that's happened to you, I would say you go to your local representative and make this a serious, serious topic. If you guys don't remember this, back in the day when we had our flat screen TVs, guess what you did not notice? Or you may have noticed this, because I did, because they irritated the hell out of me. Every time a commercial came on, my TV magically got louder. The commercials were loud. I was like, wow, what's going on with this TV? Guess what? The Federal Communications Commission came out and said, is a long time ago, maybe 2011, 2012, 2013. They said, we're going to stop these practices where these companies and these stations and these advertising companies come out and they raise the volume on your TV. It probably still happens, but at the end of the day, those are the types of things that we're supposed to be protected against. That's what our tax money pays for, to protect us against these companies, these entities, these greedy, greedy entities that are out there preying upon us. So today, I hope you learn a little bit when these. So first and foremost, I would say this to protect yourself. And this is the only thing I'm going to say to protect yourself, especially from on your mobile device. Apple's done a very good thing. They've allowed that you can only receive calls from contacts in your phone. So what I do is basically, if anybody's outside of my contact, it goes automatically to voicemail. And I'll go into my voicemail, I'll listen to it, and boom, if it's somebody I want to call back, I will call them back. So go and do that on your Apple device. Yeah, you may miss a lot of calls, and that's okay. But your phone will recognize, hey, have you contacted this person before? Or have you been in communication with this person before? Have you texted with this person before? And then your phone will recognize that and allow that call to come through. Thank you guys for joining us today. We talked about the student loan scam. We talked about scams out there that are coming very, very evident in the society. As you know, what we're here to do is to educate, power, and engage. And today, I hope I engaged and educated you not to go along with these scams, whether it be auto warranty scams, whether it be the student loan scam. Make sure you don't allow people to debit your accounts. Make sure you don't authorize debits, because what happens when you authorize a debit? If you authorize a debit, you will not get that money back from the bank. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for enjoying us. As I said, subscribe to the channel. Go and get my book, MLB to CFP. We're here for you guys to educate, empower, and engage. Thank you guys for joining us. Stay humble, stay safe. See you next week.